Welcome to the Fit Dads podcast. My name is Ryan Dutton. I'm joined by the man, the myth, the legend with amazing hair. I've been actually looking at your hair recently, mate.
I've noticed.
It's been getting really, really good. When you told me you were growing it out, by the way, this is Brad Thompson.
Hello.
When you told me you were growing it out, I was a bit sceptical, actually. There was a few stages where it looked a little bit in between. Today, you've walked in with the hair of a Greek god, mate.
Thank you, mate.
It looks,
that means a lot.
It looks awesome today.
I'm going to clip that up and play it to my wife. Because she thinks I'm having a crisis, if I'm
Does
honest.
she?
Yeah.
I don't know what you've done today. It's the flick over. Maybe you put some extra product in there. I'm liking it. It's looking slick today, mate.
That's really kind of you, mate. I think
you passed through that barrier of it looking a bit in between.
Do you know what? You were probably the catalyst because you were. I remember telling you that I'm going through this, and I think you looked at my hair and you went, "Well, if you saw a barber, they might just be able to tidy it up for you." And it was the most passive aggressive. I'd sort that shit out, mate, if I were you.
Really? Is that what you did? Did you? Okay.
And I did. I booked in with my barber, and shout out to Ads, actually. He looked at me, he's like, I know what to do.
Yeah. Maybe that's so you've been so barber, you've had it shaped up. That's what it is then. It's round the ears. It's smarter here, but it's still long on top.
Yeah. So he's done a good job. He's an absolute miracle worker, to be honest.
He's done a great job, mate. He's styled it well. It looks good.
He does expose my five head, though. I've got a big fucking forehead.
Mate, no one's got a bigger forehead as me, so don't worry about that.
Sure.
And it's on the way back.
You know why they call it forehead?
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Take your fingers. Look. Put a little finger on there.
Yeah.
I can get 5.
No, you're up to your hairline. You're on your hairline. Yeah,
your little finger.
You're 4. You're a solid 4. When you did the fifth finger went onto your hairline, over your hairline.
Right, I'll take 4 then. So I'll tell my little brothers that because I regularly get called.
I'm 4, aren't I?
You're a 4 head, yeah.
Yeah,
you're
I'm 4.
You're not Ant McPartlin. You're fine.
He's a 7-head, isn't he?
He's a 7 head.
Yeah,
bless him.
Right, should we get back onto less about hair, more about the science of quitting bad habits. So this has come off the back of a few things recently. Obviously, we're in January. People are giving up things that they know need to kind of fall by the wayside. I've just done a year of no drinking, which is quite big news for me. I'm going to give you some insights into the things I've found, pros, cons, tips. I'm going to kind of question as to whether it's right for you. I'm going to give you the logistics of giving something up that's ingrained in us since we're a child. I'm going to give you how to advice on how to navigate other people. That's a big issue when it comes to giving up habits because their influence on you is quite strong. And some top recommendations for like non-alcoholic drinks. But we want to look at the science of quitting bad habits in general because this is quite a scientific thing, and these habits live in certain places in the brain. There's certain steps and processes that have scientifically been proven to work better than others. So we want to kind of highlight some of those. But first, let's get into some of the usual stuff. Dad joke. I want to hear a dad joke this week, mate.
Dad joke. So, spent 20 minutes trying to take my wife's bra off and decided to give up. Wish I'd never put it on.
I like it. Bit of blue in there for the boys this week. Bit of blue, lovely.
And there's a bit of a, decided to give up. It's sort of linked to quitting bad habits. Before we go any further, mate, massive shout out to you for your year being sober as well. I know it's a big deal. It's a tough thing, and we know how prevalent alcohol is in British society. There's memes about us, there's tales about Brits abroad and uni students and stuff, so like honestly all credit to you because I know it's a tough thing.
I actually did a post about this. I guess it'll be last week now when this goes out, and it went down really well. A lot of people resonated with it. It's something that I think a lot of people would love to do, to give up booze. They know how much of a thorn in their side it is. And I think I mentioned it on last week's episode of the podcast about, one of your biggest strengths is knowing your smallest weaknesses. And for me, it was always a weakness. I always knew it was something I'd give up eventually. Just didn't know when it had come. And at the start of 2025, I said, can I do 6 months until my holiday? Got to the holiday, felt great. And I thought, I reckon I could do a year if I really pushed for it. We're over a year now, and it just feels like it's not something I miss. It's been easier than I expected, but I think it's easy quitting a habit when you're ready for it. And that's a big part of quitting as well.
Do you find a lot of it's having maybe different coping strategies as well? Because when I was doing a bit of research into this from a science perspective, there's a lot of blokes in particular who maybe turn to drinks. It's quite a soothing thing. There's something to be said about keeping the mouth busy. There's something really soothing about just consuming
You think that's the same like smoking and all those other kind of bits as well? Something
I don't think it's a coincidence that two of the biggest, three of the biggest, addictions in the UK in particular are, consumed, or it's stuff around that sort of area, because there's something quite psychologically soothing about that.
Well, the mouth is where a lot of sensations are, flavours as well. Like we like these things taste good to us, and maybe there is something to that. But that's also how you consume most things, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I guess the biggest advice that I would say to people is not everyone needs to quit. I think people do sometimes think that they need to quit completely when they don't. A lot of people can do it in moderation without it ever impacting their day-to-day life. I think it's about knowing who you are and how it impacts you. And I think the older I've got, unfortunately, the less forgiving it's been on me and my day-to-day life and habits. I think just it interrupts too much with what I want to do and where I want to go. So I had to kind of make that decision of like, let's knock it on the head completely and let's see how I get on. And the benefits for that far outweighed those moments where I did have a drink. Alcohol, sometimes when you say you give, and this is really interesting as well, right? Because when you say to people you're giving up alcohol, the way you phrase it's quite important.
Yeah.
Because if you say sober, that word sober, people see that as like you've got a problem. And when I say to people, I'm just going to give up alcohol, I'm just going to give up booze for a bit. And when I said for a bit, or when I've said I'm giving it for a month, or I'm giving it for 3 months, they look at you in like admiration. Oh, wow, fair play, mate. Good on you. You're giving it up for a month. 3 months? God, you're a legend, you, mate. I'm quitting forever. They look at you like, well, are you okay, mate? You want to talk about something? You got some issues going on? People look at you like you're a bit not right in their head, like you're a nutcase when you're giving up alcohol.
Maybe it's a reflection on them as well, because they might be like, well, I couldn't do that.
I think
so doing that.
It just shows for me the importance of it in our society. You're giving up something that everyone does. Are you okay in the head? Do you know what I mean? It's like, maybe it's because, I don't know, maybe it's because I've been a big drinker in the past. Well, not I say a big drinker, but I can have big sessions in the past and people know me for having some big sessions and things like that. Maybe it's just related to that, I don't know. But the way you tell people is quite telling.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I've never actually considered how you phrase it. I think I've spoken on this podcast before about how people phrase, oh, do you want a drink? And you go, oh, no, I'm all right, thank you. Or, no, I don't want to, compared to, oh, I can't.
Yeah.
It's like, as soon as you say I can't, as soon as you go, yeah, I'll have a 0 or whatever, like, you're still saying yes or no to them. It's like, yeah, I'll have a drink. I'll have this, please.
Yeah,
If they choose to query, it's like, what, 0? What do you want 0 for? Like, if that's on them, if they choose to do it. So, yeah, it's really interesting you should mention about how that's worded, yeah.
And if, for example, if you don't tell people out and out that I'm stopping drinking, you might just keep it to yourself, and then when that situation arises and you order a non-alcoholic and they say, you're not on a proper pint, no, I'm just not feeling it today. And they might be like, oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Or they might try and persuade you a little bit and say, come on, have a pint, because your lack of participation comes at a risk to their enjoyment, right? And they're going to push for it. They're going to say, come on, I want you to enjoy this as much as I want you to, as I'm enjoying it. And that'll kind of come across sometimes quite abrupt to you. But you've got to navigate that well, and you've got to say, no, you know what, I'm just going to have a chilled one tonight. That sometimes you can get away with, and that can sometimes drag out for a while. And if you can get through enough social situations like that, you then start to build up this stack of evidence that you can do this, and a stack of evidence for other people. Because if you go into that situation now, 3 months down the line, and you say, actually, I haven't drank for 3 months, mate, and they'll go, what, really? Fair play. And you'll say, I'm having a non-alcoholic tonight. They'll probably question it less. Whereas if on that first few weeks, if you're going, I'm just going non-alcoholic, come on, mate. They know the willpower's not there. They see that weakness in you. They're trying to exploit that for their own enjoyment.
And like you said, if you say, oh, I'm not drinking for a few months, there's an expiry on that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's quite a definitive thing, because if you don't end up following through with that, some people might feel like they've let themselves down a bit. Because it's a big commitment to say forever.
Absolutely.
But then so is marriage, because you sort of verbalise something and say forever.
Yeah.
Even though that's not necessarily the case for, divorcees and stuff, but you still make that commitment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, and it goes back to everything. We're talking quite specifically about alcohol here, but quitting anything whether it is drinking, smoking, drugs, whatever you want to give up. Like, there's different ways of approaching it, but the biggest issue I tend to find is other people and their influence on it.
Agreed.
Like, who you surround yourself with, the social situations you put yourself in. And one thing that I found, which was quite easy for me in the first few months, like, you know, January to March, there's probably not much really going on, is there, really, in terms of social situations. So January is quite a good time to stop. And if you get a good month under your belt, when a lot of other people are probably doing the same anyway, that kind of quickly leads into 2 months, 3 months, and before you know it, you're on a bit of a roll. But I do think that in the first 2 months especially, just chalk off every social event where there might even be a sniff of some alcohol. Chalk it off completely. Don't put yourself in that situation. Don't go in there with the possibility of being swayed when maybe willpower's a little bit lower. You know, wait to the point when, you know, you don't give a fuck, basically. And you're like, I am on this mission now where I'm not drinking. Doesn't matter what you say.
Yeah.
It's not going to sway me.
I think I know your answer to this, but is there any big tests that you've had?
Yeah, the biggest one was a wedding last year, which was... I knew it was in the diary, and when I did 6 months, I did think, I feel good, done 6 months.
Yeah.
But at 8 months, there was this wedding, and I was like, oh. And I just went in there with the mindset of, nothing can break me. And I almost kind of saw it as a bit of a challenge, like in a good way. Like, how much can they test me? I think I've told you many times on the podcast about LL Cool J going into the Sunday... parlour, no, what do they call it? The ice cream parlour shop, and ordering his favourite ice cream sundae, sitting there, sniffing it, smelling it, looking at it for half an hour, and then passing it back. That I kind of went in there with that attitude of, can I just go in there and be tested, and who's going to win, me or them? And I knew it was going to be me.
Yeah,
I'm not going to go down lightly.
Yeah, you mentioned something earlier about understanding yourself and maybe knowing yourself, and as soon as you put your flag in the ground and said, right, I'm done, there were never any doubt, I don't think, because you've got that sort of, you said it before, you're very much all or nothing, where as soon as you decide, this is it.
What I will say as well is, I never went in there with the intent of quitting forever. That's the big thing I want to highlight. I didn't go, right, I am giving up booze forever. I went in there with the attitude, I'm going to give it for 6 months. Let's see if I can still do it. I'd done that in the past years ago, but I felt like it was just becoming a bit more of an issue. Like, you know me, right? I work hard. I train hard, but one thing you probably don't know about me, Brad, is I can party hard.
Well, because was there a catalyst? Because for some people, it'll be, I woke up on that park bench.
No,
like, I'm finished here.
Fucking hell, that I mean, touch wood, that's never happened. I've never got that bad. But, you know, let's say 3-4 times a year, right? There might be a situation where I go out, you know, drink and other things get involved, and I'm back home on a Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That has massive ramifications on my day with my girls on the Sunday, my week ahead in terms of my work. Just my own self-belief of like, look, I'm a health and fitness professional preaching all this shit to my clients, and I'm going out and getting smashed on a fucking... And that's not all the time, but it felt seedy, felt wrong, felt like I was doing something that was the old me in my 20s when I could get away with that. Yeah. The landscape changes in your 30s. You know, you got more responsibilities, more commitments, more priorities. Body's different. Everything about who I am is different. And that was just something that wasn't, again, it was let's say it was once every 4 months, right? It's not bad.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
People might even say that's fucking very good. But for me, it was just, it took me, honestly, and this is no word of a lie, in terms of training, it might take me 3 months to get back to where I was.
Yeah.
Because I'm spending a month now feeling like a bit shit, catching up on sleep, because work's very intense. There's no real time to recover from stuff like that with the work that I do. And so I've got to kind of build that foundation back up for a month. Then I'm spending a month kind of just embedding back in, and then that next month is pushing back up to where I should have been had I not done that night out. And so it's all playing catch up for 3 months, and then guess what, another one comes around and I'm back where I should have been. Like, it's just this cycle of, you know, shit essentially, and I just needed to cut it out.
I think what's hard is that, like, I know how much of an impact it's had on you in terms of your performance, probably your mental state as well, just that belief that you can stick to what you say you're going to do, even amidst all this social pressure. That's quite an empowering thing. But for someone whose entire social circle is maybe that's where all the friends hang out. The friends might be at pubs. Like, I've literally got friends who spend a staggering amount of time in pubs, and I know they want to stop drinking. But how difficult is that? You're literally in a pub.
Yeah.
Like, what are the odds of you turning down a pint, not having, you know, however many units they have, 10, 12 a week, which is it's a big amount. So the environment's not quite conducive to what they want to do. And I think that's a big thing to say to someone. If you are maybe looking at quitting a bad habit, the science is environment, association. If you're surrounded by people with similar ambitions, similar mindsets, odds are you're going to flock to them and maybe be a bit more like them.
Yeah. I think if you had asked me in my 20s if I could do this with those environments and with those social circles, no chances. It's just not possible. Like, it's just too much of a fundamental part of my socialising and my growing up, and I have no regrets about that. Enjoy myself to the max, do you know what I mean? But when the detriment of that habit is so strong that it far outweighs the enjoyment of it, that's when you really want to make the switch forever and permanently. For a lot of people, they get too much enjoyment from having a drink. They get too much enjoyment from those big nights out with friends and doing that once a week, once a month. It's just too fun. It's too much enjoyment. It's a massive stress reliever from an immensely stressful week at work. It's their release. It's what they do. Like, everyone's got a coping mechanism for life and for stress, and for some people it's alcohol. Not even in a bad way.
No.
Some people just have 3, 4, 5 glasses on a Saturday, Friday night. Might not be smashed, just have a few. Do you know what I mean? They're not alcoholics by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a coping mechanism. It's going to make you feel a bit shit over the weekend. You're not going to train your best over those next few days. That's where the kind of trade-off comes from. And I don't really begrudge anyone who has a bad habit with anything, whatever it is, because there's a reason you do it, isn't there? There's a reason you do it, whether it's enjoyment, whether it's coping. But those two things are ways of dealing with life, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? We've all got our bad things that we do. It's just, what's the trade-off? The trade-off is, unfortunately, if drinking to cope with the stress of work is how you deal with it, the detriment is then it might affect the longevity of your life. It might affect your ability to train and stay in shape. It might affect quality time with your family and kids.
Before I come on to maybe some stuff that I want to change or have changed in the past, I probably just want to bring up the fact that association is quite a big thing. So like you said there, if you are someone who gets in on a Friday night and you want to crack open a bottle of wine with your missus, does it have to be a bottle of wine? Does it have to be those 3 beers that you go through on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, wake up feeling crap on Monday? Does it have to be that? Or is it just the taste that you're craving? Can it be a 0%? Is there something that, or is it that feeling that you want of escapism? Is it you want to drink to get drunk? I think if you want to drink to get drunk, I've always taken massive exception to this. I think this is as someone who doesn't like to be out of control. I don't like that feeling. You know, when you sort of feel like you're a million miles away. I don't like that. I like to know where I am.
No, I love that.
Whereas for me, I've always felt very like, mate, like my stag do was so much fun. But I look back at it and I just can't remember past like 10.
Really?
I just can't remember like
just again, a mad night.
I get to shout him out for the second week in a row. Like my best man Joff, he fireman's carried me around Nottingham for about 3 hours.
Wow.
Just propping me up, stuck me in a cop car. They all, just took
really?
me back to the hotel. I woke up in a bath, and I hated that day after. I hated it. Like, great fun, you know what I mean? But still, I look back and I'm like, I was dressed as a giraffe, waking up in a bath, and I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but it did. Anyway, we're mint. But
sounds like a brilliant night, this way. I'm gutted I didn't know you about that.
It was sick, to be fair. I'll tell you about that in a bit. But yeah, and just sort of knowing that people do that every week, I think that made me quite sad. Yeah, because I hated that feeling, like the day after, like, God, sat on that.
That's quite extreme, though. Some people will do that and have a great night. And when you're in your 20s, it is about the memories. It's about that time with the boys, like 100%. Friends, family. Do you know what I mean? Like getting a bit silly. That's the good thing. Like, it just the good thing about alcohol, especially, it breaks down those barriers, like any social anxiety you have in certain situations, that goes. Any walls that you've put up as a person over the years, it's so good at breaking those down.
Come crashing down.
And showing people, like, who the true you is. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Have you heard about Japanese culture, by the way? Sorry to cut you off.
No, I've not.
So, because Japanese culture is very respectful and very, I don't know why I put my hands together, very respectful. Sorry, arigato. But in terms of,
Konnichiwa.
I suppose how respectful it is and how focused on manners people are. Alcohol is such a big part of their corporate culture.
Yeah.
Because it just lets down them barriers. So I think just, environmentally speaking, it's not how us Brits treat it. They treat it as, well, we're going on a corporate night out. We're going to get smashed on sake.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the deepest, darkest things. And I think definitely, societally speaking, there's a lot to be said about that. But
yeah, you're right. It does, like, I think I can see why in the business world it's used a lot, because you want to get through to people. You want them to understand. You want them to be empathetic with your situation. And when booze is involved, those things can happen. If the walls are up, and you're asking someone for some money for a business deal, and you're telling about your situation and how it's going to benefit this person, you're trying to get empathetic. If the wall's up, they're not going to listen. They're thinking about their own bottom line. A few beers in the locker, now they're starting to get you a little bit. Oh, this person might help and be benefited from that. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, and again, this is something I mentioned right at the start, how it's ingrained in us from a kid, isn't it? Like, we literally, from the moment we're cognizant of what's going on, we're seeing our parents have drinks around the house. We're seeing friends come over and have drinks, or their friends come over and have drinks. You're seeing your siblings, when they get to a certain age, celebrate drinking and being able to go out and go into clubs and getting smashed and posting it on social media. It's all part of the growing up process. We're like indoctrinated into this idea that booze is something that we have to partake in. And I think I've always been a fan of try things. If it doesn't work, make your own mind up. This is why I've got a big issue with, like, legality around drugs. I think Portugal got it sussed. No drug is illegal to possess in Portugal. You can get caught with anything and you won't go to jail. And what that did was, it's like ripping a Band-Aid off, right? Or a plaster, shall we say. Once you rip the plaster off, it causes chaos. People try things 'cause it's legal now. But after a while, people make their own mind upon it. And all of a sudden, it starts to heal society. And people stop relying on these things that are, like, illegal and seedy. And they can make their own mind up. And I think everyone should be able to make their own mind up on what is right and wrong for them.
Because you mentioned drugs there as well, I'd sort of want to talk about the line of bad habits versus addiction. Because I think that's definitely something that needs talking about, like, when is it actually a problem? And at the risk of being a massive square, the dictionary definition of addiction is a chronic, relapsing brain disorder characterised by compulsive substance use or behaviour. And this is down to, it could still be harmful consequences. You know of the harmful consequences, but you still do it because it's some sort of compulsion, intense cravings and lack of control. So all these sort of things, it's a big, powerful urge to engage in an activity. And I spoke at length about one of my mates who was suffering with gambling addiction, and that's quite a hard thing to overcome. Really proud of him that he's over the back end of it now, but it makes you wonder: is he still classed as an addict? I don't know. I don't know the technical terms behind it, but we wouldn't stick him in a casino for sure.
From what I know about addiction, is because I've got some of the science here. Do you want me to read it out to you around habits and addiction, things like that? So, habits live in the brain's basal ganglia, where behaviours become automatic through repetition. Each habit runs on a cue, routine, and then reward loop. The brain learns that behaviour reliably delivers a reward, often dopamine. Dopamine doesn't just reward pleasure; it reinforces learning, making the habit easier and more automatic over time. When you quit, the habit pathway doesn't disappear, but it weakens. And this is called a synaptic pruning. So that was really fascinating. The habit never actually goes. That kind of pathway is always there. It just weakens. And so when you said, like, this guy who's a bit of a gambling addict who's, you know, recovered now, essentially, recovery really just means the synapses are weak.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? And that pathway is weak. Cravings spike because the brain predicts a reward that no longer comes. The prefrontal cortex, the decision-making area of the brain, must override the automatic habit. This takes effort and energy. Replacing a habit with a new, healthier routine using the same cue and reward is often more effective than relying on willpower alone. Again, another really, really important kind of thing to be aware of. If you've got this thing that you're doing compulsively, whatever it is, good or bad habit, with the bad habits, replace them with good ones. Like, what can you switch it for? It's probably a good time to shoehorn in the fact that my monster energy consumption this year, in the past year, has gone up massively. Is that kind of, I don't know, a compensation for the fact that I'm not drinking as much? Potentially. Could it have just been a stressful year and I needed more energy? Potentially. But there's some things that have happened that have definitely come in as a result of me taking out alcohol. Is it me looking for that little bit of a high in the day and week? Potentially, yeah, 100%. With consistency, new neural pathways strengthen, and the urge fades as dopamine predictions recalibrate.
Before we started recording, I briefly mentioned to you, Ryan, about a contact of mine who works for a bank, and he's one of the coding guys who looks after the banking apps and that sort of stuff. And he wants to describe coding to me like the brain and how that works. So he says when you code into like an app, for example, if you get a bug in the system, that's just an old bit of code popping back up again. You have to just build on top of it and then squash it down. So exactly the same thing in the coding world, that it never stops existing. It's always there, but the signal's weak, but sometimes it just jumps up to the front of the mind, and that causes you to act in a certain way. Yeah. So it's very, very difficult. And like you said, I like that word pruning. I really, really like that.
Synaptic pruning.
Synaptic pruning. That's
kind of the scientific definition of what happens when this pathway just gets suppressed. And yeah, we hear it all the time, right? Don't you? Like, about people kind of relapsing off alcohol or drugs. But I think that happens when it's been really bad, doesn't it? Yep. Like if it's been a real issue and it's been something that you've heavily relied on mentally, psychologically, when it's got such a strong, ingrained benefit to your brain of a coping mechanism. When life gets really stressful and tough, doesn't matter how much you've suppressed it, your brain's going to look for anything that can make this situation mentally a bit more manageable. And it's going to look for those old habits, those old things that are really kind of, for me, it was never a, I didn't quit because I had a problem.
Yeah.
I quit because it wasn't optimal. That's a big difference. Big difference. Much easier for sure. There's no doubt about it, right? Yeah. But I do feel for people that are quitting things that they just have relied on and have had a real bad addiction to.
You mentioned there about quitting things that people rely on. Like for I suppose for the listener's sake, bad habits aren't necessarily just substances. This can be things that you do. So like for me, I don't know if you've ever noticed, Ryan, but I'm a little bit of a nail biter.
Same.
That might go through a few people. I hate that about me.
Yeah.
It gets worse when I'm quite anxious, where I start sort of like, or if I notice a little sharp bit, it needs to go.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Immediately.
I've literally got to go. Throughout this whole podcast, I've got a little bit there I've been flicking. I can't wait to bite that off. As soon as this episode finishes, I'm not going to do it now because we're on camera and it'll be horrible on the mic, but as soon as this episode finishes, I'm going to bite that little bit of nail off. Okay. It's been annoying me.
Thanks. And again, it's always, and considering my wife is a nail tech and that's what she does, there's a bit of me that's really embarrassed by that. So it's that association of the shame, and that's something that definitely, and I have stopped before on the build up to his wedding, because my wife's like, don't let your nails look shit.
Really?
Yeah. And like, and I backed it. And
who's looking at your nails though?
I'd be surprised.
Really?
I'd be surprised. I've got some weird mates, mate.
If anyone's looking at my nails on wedding photos, Christ almighty. No, I mean, look at the state of mine. They're horrendous.
It could be worse. Are we doing this? Are we comparing?
Yours are a bit more trim than mine. Mine are horrible, mate. Mine are dirty and fucking minging. Yeah, but my missus is the same. Yeah. It's one of our biggest conflicts for me and Amy. Is she hates that, like, not that
noise. Yeah.
That if I can be legit, if she's sat on the sofa and she hears that noise, I never see her head switch as quick as that.
Yeah.
If I'm making that noise, and we have so many conflicts about like, because she just hates that noise. I don't know if she'll mind me mentioning this, but I think it was something down to her mum being quite anxious when she was younger, and her mum used to nail bite, and I think her mum got very pernickety about other people doing it.
Yeah.
And I think again it's a alert behaviour from when she was a kid. So that reminds her, I think, of great times maybe.
Yeah.
So I do feel bad that it's making her feel that way, but it's just why do we do it? It's because it's a coping mechanism, right? We're stressed out, we're thinking about things, right? I'm batting the nails, make sure I'm groomed right at least. Maybe there's something deep rooted in that.
Some sort of pruning.
We're pruning ourselves,
yeah. And even little bits like screen time. Like I've jotted down here, screen time is a terrible habit for some people. It's awful. It's absolutely horrendous. And recently I've started using something called Screenzen. And because
have you mentioned this before? Maybe you have, yeah.
So before I unlock, I think I can unlock Instagram, because Instagram was a big problem of mine, just because I find it so entertaining.
Yeah.
Because I use it for work a lot. So I'm like, right, I can go on Instagram 5 times a day for 20 minutes.
Okay. And you've set that as a rule?
I've set that as a rule.
Okay.
If I go over that, it'll ruin my streak. And I'm currently on like 3 months. I don't want to ruin that streak.
Okay,
I really don't. So I have to be really super
Does
selective.
it give you warnings when you're getting close to like the time?
which is shit.
Okay.
Because I could be like midway through a message and I'm like, oh God.
Right.
But then I'm like, well, if I need to, I'll just go on my laptop.
Yeah.
If I'm doing it for work, I'll go on my laptop.
Yeah.
Because I mainly use it for work, I'll go on my laptop. It's fine. But it's amazing how, like, to get onto it, I have to do some box breathing.
Okay.
Just for like 12 seconds, which doesn't sound a lot. But me clicking, do I want to go on Instagram? Yeah, I've got 20 minutes for work. Click on it. I need to post this thing. Boom, let me be quick. Let me be efficient. Clicking onto it and then being able to do this 4-second box breathing. 4 second? 3 second.
Okay.
That'd be 12,
so what
that'd be
happens?
12 seconds.
Talk me through this. So you go onto the app and it makes you breathe.
Let me show you.
Yeah, let's have a look.
So listeners might not be able to see this. I'd probably just get away my passcode then. Did you see that? So it could be, if I want to go on Instagram, I click on that. It says take a deep breath.
So take a deep breath.
All right. From there, Face ID. Continue.
Yeah.
And then it'll say, right, go on Screenzen now.
Okay.
So I have to now go on Screenzen.
So you literally click on the Instagram app and it automatically navigates you over to the Screenzen app.
And then, it's not done it. So if I go on it again, didn't see my notification, then I go on Screenzen. Oh, this is a nightmare, this, right? And then it'll give me inhale for 4 seconds.
So you got a little timer and it's making you inhale.
Got to hold. And then exhale for 4 seconds.
So
and then it'll say, do you want to unlock Instagram? No. So it gives you that chance just to think about it. Like, what am I doing? Am I doing this out of impulse or am I doing this out?
That's really cool.
It's really cool.
That's really cool.
I really like it. And it's just something you identify. And my screen time is so down compared to what it used to be.
I bet.
Yeah, it's half. Easily half.
I think that's really good. I might adopt that. Because you're right. If you really need to do something and it's work-wise, you're probably on your laptop anyway doing that stuff. So you can go and... Yeah, honestly, listeners, get on Screenzen. It's free as well. It's free.
It's free. Yeah, it's free.
Amazing. That sounds really good.
It's something that, shout out to George Oxley as well. George uses something called Brick.
Okay.
Have you heard of Brick before?
Is it an actual thing where you put it in a box?
Yeah. So I think if George chooses to turn it Brick, his phone, it'll just turn it into a dumb phone.
Right.
So it'll just be like, you can make calls, make texts.
Okay.
And then when he gets back to his Brick at home, which is a physical thing, he can just tap the Brick and it unlocks his phone.
Wow.
So if he's out and about and he's like, I just need calls and texts, that's it.
Wow.
He can just tap the Brick and it's done. Unlocks it. I love that.
It does ring a bell, that. So he actually has to go home.
Or, yeah.
That could be really annoying though, couldn't it?
Yeah, I can imagine that's going to be a problem where you're like, oh Christ, here we go.
It depends how many functions you want to cut off, because like sometimes you might want to make notes. Like, can you start the notes app? Maybe you can personalise it so you can access certain apps and not others.
I probably butchered that. So George, if you want to at me, mate, and tell the people what it is, that'd be great. Obviously, I mentioned screen time there. Another bad habit sometimes can be people. I think relationships, like there's a lot to be said about relationships, about whether it's a bad person, a bad influence in your life. That can be quite hard sometimes. If you've got that past with them, can you tell I'm speaking from experience here? If you've got that past with them and you maybe don't want to upset them or you don't want to, it's a very, very difficult thing to get through.
Who are you talking about? Are you willing to share this?
Not necessarily by name, but yeah, there's a big thing in terms of like a really old friend who
wasn't a good influence.
Not necessarily a bad influence, just changed a lot. Just changed a lot.
Okay.
And every time I see them, it drudges up some thoughts that I don't like.
Yeah.
Or it makes me feel a certain way. And I'm like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Sometimes you just got to cut off.
Yeah. And that could be a bad habit where you may be indulging in certain conversations that you think, this is crap. This is a waste of my time.
Yeah.
And that can be classed as a bad habit because you're just going along with things. So maybe a bad habit is how you respond to something. So maybe saying no or being a bit more honest. That is something that can definitely be for the people.
Cutting out people is tricky because we've mentioned that every habit today, whether it's drinking, drugs, smoking, I don't know, anything habit-wise,
Yep.
there's a person aspect to it.
Yep.
Because people are the ones that are usually sometimes clawing you back in. When the bad habit itself is a singular person, that's probably even trickier because
It's tough.
that person is going to be actively contacting you and going out their way to get in touch with you. Might be someone that you speak to regularly anyway over message. Might be someone you live with. It's tricky cutting out people, but again, I think we've all got stories like that, right?
Definitely.
We've all, you've not lived until the age of 30 odd and plus, unless you have got situations with someone where you've had to cut them off. They've become too intense. They've brought you down. They've not been trustworthy.
Yeah.
They've been a bit shady. They make you do things that don't feel good about yourself. People, unfortunately, bring out the worst of you. They can. But again, coming back to what I said, right? The biggest strengths are knowing your smallest weaknesses.
Yeah.
And people are those weaknesses for some people. So, tricky when it's... And no one ever wants to have difficult conversations. Everyone avoids the difficult conversations, don't they?
Yeah, it is
sometimes
tough.
with quitting something that's a physical thing, it's easy. You don't have to see that, but you don't have to have a difficult conversation with them. So I'm not sitting in front of a pint and going, "Sorry, mate,
you've not made the cut."
I'm just trying to get rid of you at the moment. It's not working. It's not you. It's me. Do you know what I mean? You can't sit down, or you can sit down with the person and say that, but it's not something we go actively out of our way to do. So, yeah, tricky.
And it can be tough because you can make excuses for them as well. And I'm a very understanding person. I always give people benefit of doubt. And, people have told me in the past it's quite a bad character trait where you see the best in people. But that's got me to a certain stage in life where I'm happy with. But in order to go to maybe that next level or the next phase in your life, things have to change. They have to change because you think, well, that's not what example I want to set for Ted, for example. So there's a different things, it's a sort of spike. And if I can bring it back to, again, like addiction, I mentioned to Ryan about, a 12-step recovery process that I was lucky enough to, try and help my friend out with as well. Russell Brand's got an amazing book, which the name of it escapes me, but he puts it in really simple terms. And that probably inspired myself to create something which is a little analogy of 12 steps compared to being lost on a road trip.
Cool.
So we've probably all experienced that. And this is definitely related to the science of quitting habits, because anyone who's not aware, a 12-step process will help people recover from some of the worst addictions known to man. But you can still use it for breaking bad habits as well. So if you are lost on a road trip, you've got to admit that you're lost. You have to admit that there's something there that you want to change. Then you need to realise that maps actually exist. That's a key thing. People just forget that there is stuff out there to help you navigate. So that's a little reminder. You probably then need to pull over and actually use it. So realising they exist, but then you have to pull over and use it. We've got number 4, which is look at where you've been driving. Look back and be like, well, where have I come from? Where am I right now? Where have I come from? I think that's vital to do as well. Tell someone that you messed up. If you're with your partner on a road trip and you say, I've took a wrong turn, it can be really, really helpful to tell them that. Then you basically need to accept that you've got driving habits that keep getting me lost. That is, I don't want to look at sat-nav. I don't care. I can do it. Like my granddad used to just get in a car and just drive and use a map. I'm going to do it as well. Or not, or just go with the birds. Then you need to let go of those habits. That's a really hard thing to do. Slow down, follow directions. Then you need to remember who got stuck waiting because of you. Who have you let down? Were you supposed to take someone to the airport? Were you supposed to get your family to a holiday destination on time? Have you failed that? That's a big one. Make it right where you can. Can you make a call, apologise? Can you say, I'm going to do this instead? that might be a big one. Check the map regularly. Just because you check it once doesn't mean that road directions change, road layouts change. You have to keep checking. And then last two, drive with awareness instead of panic. That's a big thing. Some people just go into autopilot and they just drive through panic. Whereas sometimes just bringing awareness to, well, what's around me? Have I seen that building before? Am I still lost? And the last one, which is probably one of the most insightful ones that I can give, is to try and help other lost drivers. So this is a big one for people in 12-step recoveries, which is they've overcome it. Can you encourage someone else? That's a big one.
That's a really, really nice, simplified way of breaking that 12-step process down. I really like that. It's brilliant. Yeah. And it's a great analogy with the driving stuff.
Yeah, I had to go into the archives then to find that out. I did that training years ago. Years ago, but I thought I'm going to bring it back out because
it's really understandable. Yeah. And it's so, and at every stage then, you're thinking about like addiction with something else and how that can be implemented there. But the fascinating one, I think, is the last one. Helping other people, because there's a certain part of you that's got through that.
Yeah.
You're in a different phase of life now. You're not an addict to anything anymore. You've overcome addiction, you've overcome that bad habit. And now you're actually going out there and being around people that are still going through it. And maybe that brings up some tough things for you. I don't know whether it's wise doing that stuff. Like once you're out of those, we talk about social situations and cutting people out and events and circumstances. Is it wise to put yourself back in the firing line and be around that still? Maybe you only do that when you get to a certain point where your willpower's unbreakable, really.
I've wrote a name down here who I certainly look up to him a lot, which shocked me because 10 years ago I'd have never thought I'd shout out this person as an inspiration. But Spencer Matthews.
Okay.
The guy who used to be on Made in Chelsea.
Yeah,
he's got an amazing podcast called Untapped, and I listen every single week.
Do you? Okay.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
And Spencer is someone who suffered really badly with alcohol. Like the nature of his work was, you go out to these business meetings, you get smashed, you drink, you keep up with it. And he tells this story on one of the episodes about he met his now wife, Vogue Williams, on a show called The Jump. He says he won it, but he don't remember it. He was smashed every day.
Really?
Don't remember it.
What's The Jump?
They basically went to, like, I think it was Austria.
Okay.
Do you remember this?
No.
They had to do like
ski
jumps.
Oh, really?
They like Eddie the Eagle. Like
what?
Yeah, it's mad.
He went down like the ski jump.
Massives.
Did he?
Huge ski jumps.
Whoa.
Massive. And they did all these. I think they were big Winter Olympic sports.
Okay.
It's like skeleton, that sort of
And
stuff.
he was steaming doing that.
Yeah, and he won.
Fucking hell.
He won.
Wow.
It's insane.
That's
and he
pretty impressive
it's
by
really,
itself.
really impressive. But Spencer now, that's not the reason why I'm saying he's impressive. Spencer went cold turkey, and now he can still drink when he wants to.
Oh, that's good. Because normally
that's really rare.
It is rare because normally, again, like I was saying, like you're putting yourself back in harm's way. For me, I've gone cold turkey. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like people ask me all the time, right? Do you not miss drinking? What part of it? What about going out with the lads and every now and again just having a bit of a blowout? I love nights out with my mates. I love those big blowouts. Those never get old, and I still love the kind of the camaraderie and the banter, and those nights are great. And I still will participate in those. But the drinking side of it, I don't miss that at all. The only ones I do miss are like, the one with your dad.
Yeah.
Like a whiskey with your dad, do you know what I mean? When you go around to his house, everyone's gone to bed, having a bit of a deep chat, and you both got a whiskey in hand. I missed the one when it's just you and the missus. She's got a glass of wine. Again, I was a big whiskey half a dozen bottles downstairs that are just undrunk for the last year. If anyone wants a bottle of whiskey in a Sheffield base, I can happily palm them off to you. They're the ones I miss more than anything else because they're just the relaxers, the chilled ones. They're probably the ones I could get away with doing as well if I really wanted to.
Yeah.
But I feel like for me, if I this weekend have a couple of glasses with the missus, great. I might have a couple more next weekend.
Yeah.
I might have a couple more the weekend after. I go out with some friends and they say, "Do you want a few drinks?" Well, I've been having a glass of I've been having this whiskey every now and again. I might as well just go out, watch 2 or 3 with some mates, and that happens. And then I have another night out down the line. 2 or 3 turns into 8. Oh, now it was a proper night out.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden I'm drinking again. That for me in my mind is where that goes. So if I just say I'm not drinking, it never really allows that to come back in. And it's weird actually, even as I'm saying it out loud, it almost sounds like I've got a problem. But I've not. I genuinely haven't. I just think it's like a bit of it's a gateway to it leading to worse things.
Yeah, and it is that trigger, I suppose, isn't it? It's that momentum of that's happened, so why not? Like the gate's open now. What are your thoughts on people who count the days that they're sober? Do you think they're ever truly sober?
The first person that sprang to mind then was Pete Wakefield. Because he mentioned this, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
He said, I hate people who say I'm 3 years sober.
Yep.
Because you're basically, you've got this timeline in your mind of like how long you've gone without it, rather than accepting that I'm just not that person anymore. You're almost kind of like, you've got this tagline, and even if you said like I'm 10 years sober, like it's something, I mean, you could tell people like how long you've been without drinking, but I think to a certain degree you're holding on to it, aren't you? If you're continually telling people and you wear it as a bit of a badge of honour.
Yep.
But I don't know, maybe there's a part of you that is just holding on to it. And Pete was pretty much in agreement there with that.
Yeah.
He did say, like, I don't like telling people I'm X, Y, and Z days, years sober. I just say I don't drink anymore.
Yeah, fully agree. I've always found it a little bit odd, unless they find it quite empowering by looking back and saying, that's the day I decided to change my life. That's fair. I've always said that. But if it's just a case of, actually, can I truly embody this person now?
If you say I'm 3 years, 4 months, and 22 days sober, if someone said that to me, I'm immediately thinking, God, you're really pent up on the idea that you are sober. You are literally like you're clutching at straws for days.
Becomes part of their identity then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost feel really bad of like, shit, my immediate thought would be, I hope there's a lot more years and months on that, because that sounds fragile to me. It sounds fragile.
Yeah. And just think, imagine if someone greeted you like that. Can you imagine that? Just somebody went, hi, my name's Brad, I've got an average of 2.5 hours screen time a day.
Bit like vegans.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry to all my vegan clients. I just said yeah.
Hi, my name's Brad, I'm a vegan.
I've been a vegan for 5 years then.
Yeah.
I'm not a vegan, by the way.
5 years, 3 months, and 26 days.
There you go. It does get you thinking, because it's a good conversation starter, I suppose. It's like, wow, what happened on that day? All them months ago, all them years ago.
Well, it's a bit like when I said at the start, like, be very careful in how you tell people, because if you say to people, if we're in a group of friends right now and I said to you, Brad, do you want a drink? And you go, oh no, I'm sober. Everyone around the table goes, ooh. Yeah. Whereas if you go, oh no, I'm not drinking tonight. Oh, okay, no worries. No one bats an eyelid.
Yeah.
It's a kind of it's drawing attention to something. And maybe, I don't know, depends who you are as a person, right? Yeah. You might want to tell your story. You might have had a bad issue. Yeah. You come out of it and you love telling that story. Fair enough, go for it. But I think if you don't want to draw attention to it, and you don't want to keep being reminded of it, and it keep being a big part of the conversation daily, weekly, then be very careful about how you tell people, because you can draw as much or as little attention to it as you want.
I've always admired people who don't lead with really life-changing stuff in conversations. They almost take a big interest in the person they're talking to, and then if it comes out in the wash, they go, oh, I didn't know you did that. Like, she'll not expect the shout out, but a friend of mine, Gabby Bates, who I think you might have met.
Have I met Gabby? I don't know. I've come across her online. Definitely. Yeah. I think we've interacted a couple of times. Maybe she's commented on a few of the stories and stuff.
Gabby's amazing. She's a GB medalist in kayak.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Like if I were Gav Walker, I'd be like, do you want to see me Paralympic gold medal? And that probably says more about them than me, but yeah, it's amazing. And when you find out that stuff, you go, that's really cool. And
you keep some things close to your chest, for sure.
And even like Gabs, for example, amazing singer. I mean, she could play guitar. I'm just like, that's really cool. But she doesn't lead with it. I'd never known. So when you figure out stuff like this, like, people who can speak a different language or do splits, I'm like, I didn't know I needed to know that, but fair.
It's cool.
It's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah. And you bring it out at moments when it's applicable.
Exactly. I'm trying to think moments that you'd bring out splits when it's applicable.
Yeah. Maybe a rule for life on vegans, maybe.
Any dietary requirements for the buffet? Nope.
Sorry, every vegan. I'm just joking with you. You're an easy target. Sorry.
Have you got any other science of quitting bad habits, Ryan, in your brain?
I think we went over all the main things really. I guess the one thing it says here is you're not breaking a habit, you're rewiring the brain. That's something that you need to be very aware of if it's something that's deep rooted. I think one of the biggest addictions in today's world is phones. There's no doubt about that. We've mentioned that a couple of times. If there's one thing that we could choose as an addiction that everyone's adopted in the last 2 decades, it's phones, screens. Like, we all consume way more of that. It's got a grip on us more so than I think we would ever like to admit, hasn't it? Let's be honest. Things like that app that you mentioned, how do you get past that? How do you do that? You rewire the brain, you change it with something else, you put some blockades in the way, like that kind of app. What's it called? I'll give it a shout out. Screenzen. Awesome thing to do. And I assume you can do it to different apps. You can link it to not just Instagram, but whatever it's, Facebook.
Choose whatever you want.
WhatsApp.
BBC Sport. I just want to see what gaffer man you sacks this time round. That's fun.
Yeah.
What a car crash club that is. But yeah, it always fascinates me because what I know about behavioural change psychology is quite sparse. Like, I'm not clinically trained in it or anything, but I take a big influence in that just because I try and pride myself on breaking those thought patterns and predictive patterns for other people. And your brain essentially works on predictive loops and patterns. Yeah. So if you're going to embark on something new, you might think, well, yeah, but the last time I did that, this happened. So I'll stick to what's familiar. That's essentially how your brain can work. And even emotions, emotions can drudge up so much that, I think that's really important to know about. What do you do to cope? Do you know what I mean? Like, I've spoken about the HALT protocol here for food before, which is just if you are reaching for food, sometimes you just need to halt, stop what you're doing. Are you hungry, anxious, lonely, or tired? If you can identify how you're feeling, odds are you can put a bit of a break in play. And sometimes just time. Time's such an amazing, rather than instinctively saying, yes, I will have another coffee. Even though I have 8 or 9 a day, yes, I'll have another one because you've said because you've offered it me. It's like, just have a minute. Do you just think about it? Do you need it? Do you want it? Okay, why do you want it? Why do you need it? There's a lot to be said about that.
Agreed. I think one of the things in the 12-step process as well was highlighting the fact it's an issue. There's a lot of things that people don't accept. They're not accepting it's an issue. Like food, for example. They're not accepting that little snack before bed is a bit of an issue. You're great on your calories all day, but you get to a certain point in the afternoon and you're having 300 calories in chocolates and sweets and bits before bed. You're, I don't know, you're having a few drinks at a weekend, but actually that one on a Thursday night with a work crowd, that's getting a little bit out of control. That's just tipping you into the point where it's getting a bit of a problem now. Highlight that, accept it. What can I do about it? What other things? I don't know, like movement and exercise. You've been saying for a while you're going to do something, but that for a while is now 5 years. Come on, let's start that process. Do you know what I mean? Accept it's an issue and start making some moves towards it.
What's the cliche? A dream without a plan is just a wish, or a goal without a plan is just a wish.
Definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome.
If you want a conclusion to this cliche fest we're doing, what got you here won't get you there. That's a big one I'm wrestling with at the moment. I've lived my life in a certain way for 34 years, and I'm now at a stage where to get to maybe where you want to get to from a fatherhood perspective, from a career perspective, I'm going to have to do some stuff that I've never done before, and that's quite uncomfortable.
If you want to achieve things you've never achieved before, you have to be willing to do things you've never done before. I can continue all day, mate, with these if you want.
I feel like this is our version of, you played ping pong before?
What's it called?
Pun pong.
Pun pong? No.
Played this?
No, what's that?
Okay. So,
is it like jokes back to back?
Yeah, but you pick a topic. So, like, if I said like cars, like the topic is cars.
Oh, you could go all day. I'd be terrible at this.
I could go all day. You got that class as one, I suppose. I'd say I'm getting tired. Over to you.
I don't know. I told you, I'm crap at these, mate. My puns
exhausted.
He could go all day. He literally could go all day.
So yeah, it gets you thinking with that, and yeah, it's just identifying that okay, your patterns, your beliefs, your habits have got you to this stage where you're at right now, and the body's quite an interesting one because you almost have to stop, look down, and be like, my decisions up to this point have led to this.
Yeah,
which is quite harsh to say. That's a big thing. Like, do you take pride in that, or are you a bit embarrassed? Are you a bit ashamed?
Yeah.
Are you excited because you think, oh, I've got all this potential? How do you feel?
One thing I think if you're really aware of as well is in this acceptance is the justification that we tell ourselves sometimes. That's been really, really highlighted when I cut out alcohol especially.
Yeah.
It's like justification sometimes of like, well, it is only a few times a year. I used to tell myself that.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to let my hair down. Who cares if it messes up a little bit? Like I'm allowed. I deserve a big blowout. But that mindset would mean that when it did come around, it wasn't just a few drinks and it was a proper blowout. Like it was bad. Do you know what I mean? And that's when I had to accept that. Oh, there's a bit of an issue there with that. We tell ourselves the same thing with like food, exercise all the time. Like, you know, I've had a stressful day, I deserve this. I hear that so much from clients. Like they come in and they say, I had that thing, but I had such a stressful day. You're just justifying it. That's all you're doing. You're just justifying it. There's a better way of managing that.
The hard thing is with the science of quitting bad habits is it's simple and complex at the same time. It's complex in the sense that everybody's different, but it's very, very simple in the sense that there are processes, there are things, there are guardrails you can put up to help. I can use another tedious analogy. Yeah, it's like bowling.
Yeah.
But do you need bumpers up for a bit?
Yeah.
That's what Screenzen is for me.
It's funny with addiction, like everything's so simple and it's just stop doing it.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Just stop doing it. But it's also massively complex, and that's the biggest issue. How do you stop someone doing something, that compulsive behaviour? If we all just had that kind of switch, we could say, well, switch that off. I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, how nice would that be? But it's not that simple. Addiction, breaking bad habits, there's so many. It's a bit like a button. Like, imagine there's a button. Imagine that you've got a switchboard on the side of your head, and there's all different things that you love and enjoy, and the bad habits are in there as well. And you've got a switch on the side of your brain, and it's for alcohol, right? And you suddenly just switch that off. But that switch won't move. It doesn't go very easily.
Yeah.
And it's because behind that switch, and it's the same in every switchboard in every house, once you pull that switchboard off, the amount of wires that are behind there are ridiculous. The amount of interlacing things that are going from all areas of the house, all leading to that one switch. And that's how I kind of see those addictions. And eventually you'll suss out all those little pathways and all those little leads, and you'll figure out in your own brain where all those kind of cables are coming from to that one switch. And when you understand where they're all coming from, that switch just turns off. But until you figure out where all those cables are coming from, why they're there, and how to get them to turn off, they won't turn off.
In cases like this, knowledge isn't always the solution. I've always said this, like you can know a lot of stuff, but it's probably an implementation problem. There's an amazing Instagram page I follow from a guy called TJ Power.
TJ Powell?
TJ Power.
Power?
Like power, as in, sick name, isn't it?
It's cool.
I don't know his real name.
He's definitely made that up.
I don't know if he has. I think Powers is proper.
TJ Power?
Yeah.
Even TJ's a cool name.
There's a footballer called Max Power. I really enjoy that.
Max Power.
He's a lower league footballer, so
okay.
I'd argue he should be an England team for his name.
He's definitely, anyway. His parents have got opportunity here to go like the coolest name ever.
Maximus Power. Which, like TJ Power, he talks a lot about dopamine and overcoming these silly things we all do. Like, so I've just complimented your shirt earlier and just tipped it all down, yeah.
Yeah, I have. Could have been a lot worse.
Could have been worse. But yeah, like TJ talks a lot about, how does he word it? A lot about like relationship friction. He's like, here's how you can overcome relationship friction by doing this, by doing this, by doing this. And he talks about the effects of dopamine and doing housework. When you do housework, like when I do housework, I listen to podcasts. And arguably I shouldn't do. because I'm probably going to get more of a dopamine hit from making sure my washing's on, letting it go around, hanging it out, and then putting it away. That there's a certain tedious element to that dopamine that's taken quite a long time. It's quite a monotonous process, but you get quite a big dopamine hit when you've done your bedding. I mean, you've washed your bedding, put some new bedding on. There's a big dopamine rush there. But the issue now is we get instant dopamine from multi-billion-pound apps. So we're almost against the grain all the time. It's hard.
I'm not sure I agree with that in the fact that you shouldn't listen to podcasts while you're doing your housework, because I'll be honest, sometimes if I've got some washing to do, I'm not looking forward to that. I can't be arsed hanging that washing up. Yeah. But if I get to listen to a podcast, I'm really looking forward to. I've got half an hour where I go, oh, brilliant, I can listen to this podcast and I get to kind of do a job that I don't really like doing. I'm almost, it's literally this, I've switched it and I've been like, this is amazing. I can't actually wait. I can't wait to do this because I'm going to get to do something that I'm really looking forward to, which is listen to the podcast. I just so happen to be doing it whilst I'm doing this thing I don't particularly enjoy, which is the washing. It takes the edge off it.
Like, I fully agree with that, by the way. And I think it all depends. If you are someone who you never have that decompression time. I think I spoke to you about a YouTube video that I watched ages ago from a guy called Dr. K, who talks about your brain needs time to idle. And TJ's done an amazing post here, which is called It's Just 30 Minutes. And he's got like a bit of him and his missus both sat on their phones. Him and his missus sat after a hike. And it's like constantly, I'll see if I can show you. It's just 30 minutes. So it's like on his phone, reading a book. On his phone.
Do you know what? I've seen these knocking around.
They're really cool. And it finishes with, and I will read this quote out, there's a reason I showed you it, which is, every choice feels small in the moment, but what you do in 30 minutes becomes your life. All them little 30 minutes, all that 30 minutes I spend on Instagram. Yeah. Because it's intentional. And then I put it down.
The screen time's really highlight that for a lot of people, hasn't it? You know, when do you get a notification at the end of the week where it tells you your screen time?
I've just turned it off.
Have you?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's quite harrowing. When it's been bad weeks, I've been like, oh my God, I've spent 7 hours a day on my phone. Yeah. Oh, wow. And you do look back and you go, yeah, I was. I mean, there's justifications for it with work and stuff like that, and it's probably different for us. But you know that there's probably maybe there's an hour, 2 hours a day there at least, where it was mindless scrolling. Stuff we could have cut out a little bit.
Yeah.
I think in the last few years I've been a lot better at it, and my screen time's come down a hell of a lot just because I am genuinely busier. But I still know there's a certain amount of like decompression time that I'll spend on Instagram or other platforms where I'm doing a block of work. I've done like the bit I need to do. Right, I've got a second now. What do I do? Before, no, I'm on Instagram. It's almost like I'm just, and I almost do see it as a way of like checking in with people a little bit. Oh, what are they up to? What's he doing? What's he doing? What's he doing in his story? That's cool. That's quite cool. Before I know it, I'm on Reels. I'm scrolling through and I'm watching a bloke dissect dogs having a shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, dogs always face north and never shit. I've realised this in a study. And I'm like, oh, this is quite cool. But why am I looking at this? What's it bringing to my life? Nothing. Do you know what I mean?
There's this is going to sound really tedious, but I will bring it back. Me and Ted and Amy watched a film the other day called The Mitchells versus the Machines.
Mitchels versus the Machines.
Have you seen this on?
No.
It's a ridiculous film. It's really like slapstick, funny, really fast-paced animated show. And it's basically about this family who become a part of this like a tech apocalypse where the tech takes over.
Okay.
Mate, it's hilarious. It's ridiculous. It's really fast-paced. It's really silly. Ted loved it, but the underlying message behind it is great. It's really good, which is, there's a little bit of an apocalyptic doomsday sort of feel to it, but the overarching message is, look, do we need this? Do you know what I mean? Do we need that? Like, what are we if you take that away? Yeah. And it's really interesting for like, and one thing, Ted, I was asking him like, what did you enjoy about that? He's like, well, I enjoyed all the silly bits. I'm like, what did you notice? He were like, technology can be bad. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, it can, kid. Yeah. Yeah. So that was quite nice for Ted to highlight
that out.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was quite nice. So the Mitchells versus the Machines.
Okay. One for parents out there, absolutely.
Yeah, really silly, like really fast paced. Okay. I think you've said before about like Gabby's Doll's House being really quick compared to like Postman Pat. Yeah. Similar to that. Okay. Very quick, but it's good fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe, what's the other one? Rick and Morty is a little bit like that. Yeah. Fast paced, lot going on, speaking quite crazy, quite attention grabbing. Mitchells versus the Machines.
Mitchells versus the Machines. Like I said, really silly.
Is it PG? Or is it like
PG.
not like a 12 or something? Is it?
No, it's all PG.
'Cause I've made that mistake a few times. Tried to watch a 12 with Harlow.
Yeah.
Quickly realised this is a bit too violent for her.
Maybe not.
Okay. Mitchels versus the Machines.
Recommend.
I'll give it a go. Yeah.
Any closing comments from you, mate, about the science of quitting bad habits?
No, tried to have a little bit of a look for something more deeper in terms of the science behind it, but I think we've pretty much highlighted everything, to be honest with you. I guess just putting out to the audience, if there's anything that you have overcome, anything that's been a problem that you've struggled with, that you're still struggling with, that you potentially want to share, we'd love to hear those stories. And we may do a bit of a follow-up episode about kind of things that we're cutting out. I am already into my next thing for the next year. So I've cut out booze in 2025. Just something I'm already into for 2026. I'm not going to disclose too much around that, but maybe at some point in the future I might divulge what that is. Okay. But there's another habit that I'm cutting out at the moment, and I'll discuss that in the future. So maybe around 2 of this episode at some point. Okay. And if people have got things that they want to want to input onto that and give ideas for, we'd love to hear them for sure.
Absolutely. Bring them on.
Guys, thank you as always for joining us on the Fitness Podcast. We'll see you next one.
See you soon.
Mate, awesome.
Cheers,
Thank
boss.
you.